Hello, this isn't my usual content, so if you subscribe to my channel due to this video, then please be aware I won't be posting these types of videos very often. This is also not a State Human or Country Human video, if you're here for that. Don't worry, I'm making State Human inks after this video. This is more or less just an excuse for me to yap about the SCP Foundation. I will be designing characters for every single SCP group of interest, and if the series blows up, then I'll consider doing the same for the GoI's in the international branches, location of interest, the MTF, the departments of the Foundation, or SCP sites. If it ever blows up. I mean, I highly doubt it, but whatever. I will be doing the GoI's listed on the wiki's GoI page, so if there's any I missed, it's probably because it wasn't listed on the page. The designs will be reminiscent of Country Humans / State Humans, since my entire channel is built on that. Just to quickly summarize what I'm doing, the groups of interest will be personifications, which will align with my lore for Country Humans and State Humans. The concept of cores will be mentioned at one point, but not in this video, so I will explain that in the video that I have to explain it in. Yeah. I am also not a great artist or character designer, so you can critique my drawings, just don't be mean about it. You can also correct me if I'm wrong about something too, since I'm not an expert on the SB universe, and yeah, I'm not perfect. This video will contain slight nudity. I also do not support Admin Bright, since Dr. Bright will be mentioned in this video. Also, there are going to be LGBTQ plus content in here, so if you hate that, just don't watch it. Before we design any groups of interest, we first have to make the SCP Foundation. The Foundation is an international and independent organization that deals with anomalies by capturing them by any means possible. Although there are a couple exceptions, which I will talk about later. They are the organization that we know the most about, considering we see everything from their perspective. Their basic internal structure consists of D-Class, or the disposable test subjects, the researchers, the guard/MTF, and the O5 Council. The O5 are on top of the power pyramid, although depending on the canon, this can vary, as a figure known as the Administrator either exists as an O5 or is more powerful than the O5. The Foundation classifies anomalies based on how hard they are to contain, although more recent articles also use other methods to further simplify information. The three primary containment classes are Safe, anomalies that pose no risks to breach, Euclid, anomalies that are sentient and or unpredictable, and Keter, anomalies that are hard to contain. Reminder that these classifications don't necessarily represent how dangerous they are. There are also esoteric classes, such as Archon, where the anomaly is best left to not be contained, and Apollyon, where the anomaly is impossible to contain. The Foundation can also just get rid of the anomaly, which will cause the SCP to gain the neutralized status. I decided to design the SCP Foundation as a scientist, with their color having little references to famous SCP doctors, such as Dr. Clef and Dr. Bright. I decided to also give him multiple eyes, which is kinda symbolic for how the Foundation is everywhere and sees everything. Mostly everything. He also has scars. I decided to make him transgender because the MTF has the same abbreviation as male to female, and it's kind of funny that they both have the same abbreviation. The Foundation's other persona has references to MTF Alpha 1, the Red Right Hand, and Epsilon 11, the Nine-Tailed Fox, which I think are the most well-known task forces. He's just dressed in regular tactical gear. I made him cold but not heartless, as he does have some semblance of empathy within him. He does care about the Chaos Insurgency somewhat, since I did make the Chaos Insurgency his younger brother, but the Foundation pushed his feelings down because of incidents. I would like to imagine he just spies on the other groups of interest to the point where it's just borderline stalking. He probably isn't friends with most of the groups of interest and is tempted to just turn himself in as an anomaly to the Foundation. Enjoy the rest of the speed paint. Next up is the GOC, or the Global Occult Coalition. They are a department of the United Nations that deals with anomalies by destroying them. They are one of the most prominent and well-known groups of interest. They call anomalies parathreats and have a sort of strained relationship with the Foundation, although they do see eye to eye with each other sometimes. They are most well known for wood shipping a sentient chair, also known as SCP-1609, but they aren't as incompetent as they are portrayed. I mean, considering it still exists means it's still being funded by the UN and other countries. They have 5 goals: the survival of the human race against all threats, paranormal, parascientific, and paratemporal. Concealment, since the knowledge of parathreats could result in mass panic and heavy casualties among the human population. Protecting individual human beings, destroying anomalous objects, and education. Their main leader is DC Alfine, although it is debated if this person actually exists. They are enemies with a couple of well-known groups of interest, such as the Serpent's Hand, the Church of the Broken God, and the Chaos Insurgency. I decided to make the GOC's gender female, since their supposed leader is also supposedly a female. I gave her the wings of a dove, connecting her to the UN, which I do really need to update the design of. She is blind in one eye due to incidents. I also made her muscular because of how much the military is involved with the GOC. She is a focused and experienced fighter and is a possible dad's girl, considering she probably doesn't have a mom, since the way I made personifications are really, really weird. She's smart but also ends up in rather stupid situations. I have nothing else to say, so you guys can just watch the rest of the speed paint. Next up is the Valravn Corporation, and I'm sorry if I butcher that name. They are an anomalous mercenary group that primarily work around areas where the GOC and the SCP Foundation have less jurisdiction over. They operate based on who the highest bidder is. They are usually portrayed as villains, although that's usually because they are hired by others to do the dirty work. They utilize anomalous technology to operate by giving their operatives cybernetic upgrades and just creating machinery. They are also heavily influenced by mythology, mainly Norse and Danish, but they also take inspiration from other mythologies, such as Greek. And if you're wondering, Valravns are ravens that, after consuming the flesh of those dead on the battlefield, gain human knowledge and the ability to turn into warriors. They have a small feud with the Serpent's Hand, more specifically a branch called Las Víboras, and a huge feud with the Three Moons Initiative due to a copyright conflict over a design. Operatives from both groups will attack each other when they see each other. They did sign a treaty called the Cartagena Agreement, which is an agreement between them, the Foundation, and the GOC so that Valravn doesn't break the veil. I was originally going to base Valravn's design off of the Chiron model they developed, but I thought the Valkyries were cooler. I am a bit of a sucker for some Norse mythology. I made her heavily modified and also gave her raven wings due to the whole Valravn thing. She also has tiny wings on her head because why not? This is absolutely flawless reasoning. She's very emotionally distant from everyone, except for Serpent's Hand and the 3 Moons initiatives, which by then it would just be on-site aggression. She's a bit greedy, considering her whole organization feeds off of conflict. Although, I'm not gonna lie, she's probably badass whenever she fights, considering the Foundation and the GoI's would most likely use up a lot of resources just to defeat Valravn. Enjoy the rest of the speed paint. Next up is AWCY, which is an artistic movement that basically just creates anomalous art. They have no leader, no centralized authority, no headquarters, and is actually very easy to get into, considering it doesn't require a membership to join. It isn't very organized, as there are smaller groups within this movement, and some actually just work alone, which is highly relatable as an artist. The tendency of some groups to produce highly visible public artworks that cause death, injury, or lasting psychological harm has led to some to call the entire movement as a bunch of art terrorists coming together. I made AWCY a non-binary folk based on the fact that AWCY doesn't have a specific goal in mind other than to create art. I gave them multiple arms because I'm pretty sure a lot of us artists would love to have some extra arms. The apron also has the words
Sommes-nous devenus magnifiques?
Which translates to Have We Become Magnificent, which is the name of an art exhibition that is kind of the only notable tradition the group has. I gave AWCY some camouflage pants due to how elusive the members of the group are. Their eyes are also cognito hazards, since a lot of the artworks created by this art movement are also cognito hazardous. They're very elusive and a bit snarky, and I like to imagine they're basically some art hippie. They probably just make fun of the Foundation and the other groups of interest for not being able to catch him. Yeah, watch the rest of the speed paint now. Lastly, we will be designing Deer College. Deer College is an anomalous college located in 3 Portlands, which is an anomalous location that can be accessed from the Portlands of Maine, Oregon, and England. It has the obvious courses of English, mathematics, science, and history, and the arts, but it also has anomalous courses. The anomalous courses consist of unnatural sciences, innovation and summoning, magical arts, and metaphysics. Many people of interest are alumni of Deer College. For example, Vincent Anderson, who founded Anderson Robotics, and Esther Lesbian Gengar Kogan, one of the co-founders of Gamers Against Weed. This college is mostly untouched by the Foundation due to an agreement they made with the UIU, although any alumni are of interest to the Foundation. The college also has a rival college in 3 Portlands called ICSUT, which is promoted by the GOC. Deer graduates are are sought after by a couple groups of interest, such as Marshall Carter and Dirk, Anderson Robotics, and the UIU. There are rumors that some alumni joined the Foundation at GOC, which the college has some beef with. I decided to design Deer based off of the logo, so she has wings and deer features. I also threw on some Deer College merch that I made myself because why not have a little college pride? She has a tiny pin of the UIU, and her glasses have references to 3 Portlands. I like to imagine she's basically just an average college student, although she'd probably have some sass to the Foundation and GOC. She looks more harmless than she is, considering she'd know a lot about other groups of interest, such as Anderson Robotics. I guess she has some kind of parental feelings over Anderson and Gamers Against Weed, considering the people that created those 2 things also graduated from the college. Enjoy the rest of the speed paint. Well, that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys like this, I will make an effort to post more videos like this. You guys can comment which GoI's you'd like to see next, although I already planned which GoI's I'll design for the next video. I don't know what else to say, so bye.